the International Day of Democracy. So, Most Reverend Father Ronnie Jacob, Principal Greendale School, Vice Principal Ma'am Kiran Chetri, my dear colleagues and dear children. The International Day of Democracy is celebrated around the world on 15th September each year. It was established through a resolution passed by the UN General Assembly in the year 2007, encouraging governments to encourage and consolidate democracy. We encourage all our member parliaments to mark the day with events and celebrations. Since the day was first observed in the year 2008, hundreds of parliamentary events have been held worldwide. These have included photo competitions, workshops for children, live televised debates, radio phone-ins, and meetings with civil society organizations. The International Day is an opportunity to review the state of democracy around the world. Each year highlights a specific theme. Past themes have been included stronger democracies, the importance of democracy for the 2030 agenda for sustainable development, strengthening the voices of citizens, dialogue and inclusiveness, accountability and political tolerance. Our support for International Democracy Day stems from our core belief that democracy requires the participation of all citizens. It is an opportunity to highlight the important role of parliaments and to celebrate their capacity and mandate to deliver on justice, peace, development, and human rights. Our work on International Democracy Day is part of our efforts to build democracy. So the theme for 2023 is empowering the next generation. This year's theme for the International Day of Democracy focuses on young people's essential role in advancing democracy and ensuring that their voices are included in the decisions that have a profound impact on the world. Young people are the current and future custodians of democracy. An engaged and well-educated electorate is at the heart of strong democratic societies. Creating an environment in which young people feel their voice counts is crucial. Young people must navigate a world in which democracies are under threat from factors ranging from the proliferation of online mis- and disinformation to rising populism and the destabilizing effects of the climate crisis. It is important for everyone it is able to meaningfully participate in the decisions that affect their lives now and in years to come. Unresolved conflicts, the rising threat of climate change, and financial turmoil pose a constant threat to democracies around the world. The walls are closing on civic spaces, warns United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres on the International Day of Democracy. In his message marking this day, the UN chief blames the current spread of mis and disinformation that is poisoning public discourse, polarizing communities, and eroding trust in institutions. Given the damaging effect that this flood of false information can have on young people. This year's International Day of Democracy is dedicated to empowering the next generation by focusing on the critical role of children and youngsters in ensuring democracy today and in the future. The effects of the climate crisis on the physical environment are today impossible to ignore. and it is becoming increasingly apparent that it is a challenge to democracy. Growing food insecurity, migration, water scarcity, and extreme weather events are driving conflict and weighing on the minds of voters. Young people around the world have shown that they are extremely concerned about the climate crisis. In recent years, hundreds of thousands of school aged children, frustrated by the pace of negotiations to cut fossil fuel emissions, have taken part in large scale marches, strikes, and protests. Calls for climate justice have also been a feature of these demonstrations. Young people realize that they are likely to suffer the consequences of an increasingly unstable climate caused by the activities of earlier generations. The United Nations recognizes the importance of empowering young people to take leadership roles on issues of international importance. The Office of the Secretary General's Envoy on Youth convenes the Young Leaders for the Sustainable Development Goals, a group of 17 change makers whose leadership is catalyzing the achievement of SDGs, and the Youth Advisory Group on Climate Change ensures that the Office of the Secretary General's Envoy on Youth convenes the Young Leaders for the Sustainable Development Goals, a group of 17 change makers whose leadership is catalyzing the achievement of SDGs, and the Youth Advisory Group on Climate Change ensures that the Secretary General hears directly from young climate activists who can share strategies for advancing climate action. The UN Democracy Fund, that is UNDEF, finances projects that empower civil society, promote human rights, and encourage the participation of all groups in democratic processes, including youth. The International Day of Democracy provides an opportunity to review the state of democracy in the world. Democracy is as much as a process as a goal, and only with the full participation of and support by the international community, national governing bodies, civil society, and individuals can the ideal of democracy be made into a reality to be enjoyed by everyone and everywhere. Freedom of expression is a fundamental human right enshrined in Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. But around the world, these are governments and those wielding power who find many ways to obstruct it. Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas through any media and regardless of frontiers. So, my dear students, as this year's theme for the International Day of Democracy is empowering the next generation, so I request all of you to actively participate, and your active participation is very important for the success of democracy not only in India, through the whole world. So with this word, I conclude my speech. Thank you very much and have a nice day ahead.